Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside blustery Milford High School as Milford TV is excited to once again bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. I am Tim Coet, and we are thrilled to be kicking off our spring sports coverage for this 2015-2016 school year, and we get it started in style, bringing you the Lady Hawks softball team as they have their home opener for this 2016 season. They will be taking on the Kelly Rex Division Attleboro Lady Bombardiers. And of course, a lot of expectations once again on this Lady Hawks softball team as we enter into a brand new season. Of course, this Milford softball program for 3 straight seasons now has reigned supreme in the Davenport division, claiming the regular season crown in each of the previous 3 seasons. Last year, an overall mark of 17-3 in the regular season, which earned them the number 7 seed in the Division I South playoffs. They ended up having a very good come-from-behind victory in round 1 of those playoffs against Quincy, a 6-5 8-inning victory, and that set them up with a rematch. We all remember it well in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs against number 2 seeded Silver Lake, the team that Milford was able to defeat in the regular season. Silver Lake's only loss on the year, and Silver Lake ended up avenging that regular season loss with a 2-0 victory in the playoffs, eliminating Milford. Silver Lake ultimately went all the way on to the state championship game where they lost to the defending state champion, St. Peter Marion. So a very solid season all the way around for Milford last year, and they will look to just pick right back up where they left off. Many of the faces on this roster the same from last year, just a handful of changes. And of course, only 2 seniors moving on from last year's team, Taylor LeBrun and Ali Pierre Gustavo, last year's captains. Those will be some big shoes to fill, but some new blood on this team with high expectations. A few underclassmen new to the fold this year, and 1 transfer student in Jess Tomaso, who is expected to fill in very nicely in the middle of this lineup. And of course, a lot of experience on the pitching staff as well, with junior Allie Atherton back once again for her 3rd year on this varsity squad as the number 1 starter, and she'll be backed up once again by Kelly Reichert as well. So again, a lot of talent, a lot of expectations, and a lot of excitement as a new season is about to get underway. Again, it is Milford taking on the visiting Attleboro Lady Bombardiers. We will bring you the starting lineups and the game's first pitch next here on Milford TV. And welcome right back inside Milford High School, ladies and gentlemen, here at the softball field, just moments away from getting this game underway. Milford has taken the field, the 2016 team ready to get this year going. And before we see the first pitch, let's get you updated on the starting lineups for these 2 teams. We will kick it off with the visiting lineup. That is the Attleboro Lady Bombardiers. Leading it off is the first baseman and captain, Sarah Vincent. Batting second is the shortstop and co-captain, Olivia Cass. Batting third and catching is Julia Carlson, with the second baseman, Julia Woyton, in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth and playing third base is Michaela Harnois, with Mackenzie Bergdahl, the starting pitcher, in the number 6 spot. Batting seventh is the left fielder, Ilya Calverley. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Casey Whelan. And batting ninth and playing center field is Haley Pietro. Attleboro is coached by Mark Homer. And for your hometown Milford Lady Hawks, their starting lineup looks like this. The left fielder, Kate Irwin, leads it off with Emily Pierre Gustavo in the 2 spot playing second base. Maggie Farrell moves into the number 3 spot. She plays right field, with Jess Tomaso just transferring over to Milford High School this year. She will bat cleanup and play first base. Captain Jill Powers bats 5th and plays shortstop, with Caitlin DeCapua, the designated player, batting 6th. Megan Jakes is also a captain on the squad. She catches and bats 7th, with Maddie Bonvino, the third baseman, batting 8th. And in the 9th spot is the center fielder, Sydney Pounds. We mentioned in the starting lineup for Attleboro is their starting pitcher, Mackenzie Bergdahl. And in the circle for Milford in this game to lead off the season, it is Allie Atherton. She has done the heavy lifting in terms of starting pitching for Milford in each of the previous 2 seasons, and she gets the nod here on game number 1 of the season. Milford with a wealth of pitching options at their disposal, as we mentioned in the open, between Atherton and also sophomore Kelly Reichert, and Maggie Farrell also doing some pitching as well. And so we are just about ready to get this game going, as the leadoff batter, Sarah Vincent, about to step into the box for Attleboro. She digs in on the right side, getting set to be opposed by Allie Atherton, who collects herself just off of the pitching rubber. Some sunshine breaking through just before game time as Allie Atherton goes into her windup, and the first pitch of the game is a cue shot foul up over the backstop. And softball season is underway here in Milford, top of the first inning. Here at the softball field in Milford, Tim Coette on the call. No balls and one strike as Atherton goes back into her windup. The next pitch a little bit high and away, and it evens at 1-1. The defense in tight at the corners at first and third. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that just hugs the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Sarah Vincent, one of the Attleboro captains, ready to see the next pitch. And that one just a little bit too far outside, and the count evens once again at 2-2. Megan Jakes getting the nod behind the plate, catching Atherton today. The 2-2 pitch, this is popped up, foul behind first base, giving it a look is Tommaso, but that drifts out of play. And the count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes to the first hitter of the season here at the Milford softball field. As you can no doubt hear through the microphones, it is a very windy day for softball. That wind blowing pretty much straight in towards the plate. As Atherton winds and fires, this ball is hit on the ground. It gets just past the circle, fielded by the second baseman, Pierre Gustavo. She throws on to first to record the first out of the top of the first inning. Defensively for Milford in this game, it is Maddie Bonvino at third, Jill Powers at short, Emily Pierre Gustavo at second, Jess Tommaso at first, and Megan Jakes behind the plate. Left to right in the outfield, Kate Irwin, Sydney Pounds, and Maggie Farrell. 1 out and the bases empty for Olivia Cass, the starting shortstop. And the righty takes a look at ball 1 just a bit outside. That pitch in at the knees, but a little bit outside. The 1-0 pitch, that's a liner right back up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. That's going to sneak towards the wall. Digging for second base is Cass. Here's the throw. It's not in time, and sliding in safely with a 1-out double is Olivia Cass. So a 1-out double puts a runner in scoring position for the Lady Bombardiers. They come into this game with an 0-1 record. They've gotten a single game in on the season. It was a 6-2 loss. Milford had a pair of games scheduled last week, but between snow early in the week and heavy rains late, no opportunity to get any spring sports, any outdoor spring sports in last week. So Milford opens up their season at home in this Hockomock League crossover match. The pitch is hit on the ground. A stab made at first base by Tommaso. She takes it to the bag herself to retire the number 3 hitter, Julia Carlson. 3 unassisted on the putout. Moving on to third base is Cass. And so a 2-out RBI opportunity for the second baseman, Julia Woyton, as she digs in. A steady diet of right-handed bats in this Attleboro lineup. The first pitch from Atherton is outside for a ball. Allie Atherton pitching very well all season last year, but we mentioned it a couple of times during our broadcast last season. The first inning really was her one trouble inning, allowing first inning runs in 7 of her 13 starts in the regular season last year. Once she got through that first inning, she usually settled down quite nicely. She's got a count of 1 ball and 1 strike on Woyton, with 2 outs and that runner at third base. Here's the pitch. Hits the outside edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Atherton 1 pitch away from getting out of a bit of a jam here in the top of the first. Atherton is ready. Here's the pitch. Too far outside. She could not get Woyton to chase. The head coach for Attleboro, Mark Homer, watching from the third base coach's box. hoping to see his team scratch a run across here in the first. Here's the pitch, and it is swung on and missed for strike 3. Held on to by Megan Jakes. It's the first strikeout of the game for Atherton, and she does indeed strand that runner at third. Attleboro threatens, but they cannot score. We head to the home half of the first inning, where Milford will take their first swings of 2016. It comes your way next here on Milford TV. Bottom of the first inning in Milford, where it will be Kate Irwin, Emily Pierre-Gustavo, and Maggie Farrell leading it off for the Lady Hawks offense. Facing Mackenzie Bergdahl, making the first start of her varsity softball career. A freshman in Attleboro, turned a lot of heads heading into the softball season, and she gets the nod here in their second game of the season, facing Kate Irwin. Irwin up there with an early count of 1 ball and 1 strike. One defensive change to let you know about for Attleboro. We'll do it in just a moment as the 1-1 pitch dips low. Michaela Harnois was in the starting lineup at third base. She has been removed. She did suffer a knee injury during warm-ups today, tried to give it a go, but she has been pulled from the game, so Julia Woyton, who was the scheduled second baseman for this game, shifts over to third. Elizabeth Howe now checks into the game at second base. She will bat fifth. The 3-ball, 1-strike pitch to Kate Irwin just grabs a piece of the outside part of the plate, and the count runs full. The lefty Irwin ready. She sets up right at the back edge of the left side batter's box and takes a called strike 3. So Bergdahl able to battle back to get her first strikeout. She was down in the count. But she catches Kate Irwin looking. 1 out and the base is empty now for Emily Pierre-Gustavo. She swings away at the first pitch and taps it foul wide of third base. Milford sports fans thrilled to see Emily back out on the active roster after missing all of the winter sports season for the Lady Hawks basketball team due to a shoulder injury. But that injury has healed. She's ready to go for the beginning of the softball season, where she is certainly one of the players to watch on offense for this team after a standout freshman season, back now in her sophomore year. 1-ball, 1-strike pitch is hit hard on the ground. It gets past the glove of the third baseman. It gets past Howe down the line. Digging for second base is Pierre-Gustavo. Pop-up slide. She's in there safely. So a 1-out runner in scoring position. They may very well call that a single and an error, as it glanced off the tip of the glove of the third baseman, Howe. Excuse me, the third baseman, Julia Woyton. Hard pitch in there to Maggie Farrell, but it misses for ball 1. Maggie Farrell, who had a flair for the dramatic last season. In there in the number 3 spot in the lineup, as she sends a hard line drive foul and out of play just over our camera positioned down the third base line. Rob O'Keefe manning that camera once again. 1 ball and 1 strike on Maggie Farrell. With Emily Pierre-Gustavo at second base, this ball is hit right back to the pitcher. Immediately, Bergdahl goes to first base to get the out there. Emily Pierre-Gustavo moves on to third with 2 outs. So both of these teams with very similar first inning performances to this point. Attleboro could not get that 2-out runner at third base to score. Milford hoping to get the job done as Jess Tomaso takes her first at bat in a Milford uniform. No balls and 1 strike on Tomaso. Jess Tomaso transferring in from Hopedale High School. She's a sophomore. Served really as the 6th man on the girls basketball varsity team this year. Played very well, was a good energy player. for Coach Dolliver. But now in the mix in this cleanup spot in the Milford softball starting lineup. She finds herself down in the count here. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Milford an opportunity to take the early lead. Here's the pitch from Bergdahl. This is a liner back up the middle, and that's going to get in for a hit, and it's going to scoot all the way to the wall. In to score easily comes Pierre Gustavo, as Jess Tomaso will hold up at second base with a 2-out RBI double that gives Milford the first run of the game, the first run of their season. They take a 1-0 lead. That got down in front of the center fielder, Haley Pietro. Got underneath her glove and went to the fence. No problem for Pierre Gustavo to come in to score. And the RBI double for Jess Tomaso. She's in scoring position now for senior captain Jill Powers. Powers takes the first pitch for a ball. Powers a right-handed stick against the right-handed throwing Bergdahl. This one hit on the ground to shortstop. Powers tests her counterpart, Olivia Cass. She sends a good throw across the diamond to get the out to retire the side, but the 2-out RBI double by the new member of this Lady Hawks team, Jess Tomaso, puts Milford out in front 1-0. We've played 1 inning now for Milford. Stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV. Batters 5, 6, and 7 due up for Attleboro in the top of the second inning. Elizabeth Howe leading it off. As we mentioned in the previous half inning, a last-minute addition to the starting lineup. Michaela Harnois, I should say, injured during warm-ups. Taken out of the lineup, Elizabeth Howe inserted in her place. And a quick count of no balls and 2 strikes on the second baseman, Elizabeth Howe. Again up there from the right side. Atherton gathers herself. The 0-2 pitch right there on the outside edge for a called strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout to Howe. And that is how the second inning opens up. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Atherton, who K'd Julia Woyton to bring an end to the first inning. Now 1 out and the base is empty as Mackenzie Bergdahl stands in. She takes a called strike. As we mentioned, Bergdahl, a freshman, getting the start in the circle for Attleboro today. One of 3 freshmen Attleboro is carrying on their roster, and they feel good about all 3 freshmen. Bergdahl along with Haley Pietro and Brenna Slaney. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Bergdahl as that wind just continues to howl in towards the plate. Bergdahl sends a foul ball, I should say, up against the fence behind the plate. And it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Coach DeVito crouched down just outside the Milford dugout. That dugout located down the third base line. Watching his starting pitcher, Atherton, who delivers a pitch just a little bit outside that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joining Coach DeVito's staff this year is Tim Walsh. Here's the 2-2 pitch, a little floater foul, but that's up over the backstop and out of play. Coach Walsh staying busy basically all year round as a coach on the football staff in the fall. He coached the JV basketball team in the winter and now a part of this softball coaching staff in the spring. He'll continue to coach during the summer as well for the Milford Legion baseball team. Another 2-2 pitch on the way to Bergdahl. It's up and away, and the count runs full. This is the most sun we've had all day long here at game time. Temperature hovering around the 50-degree mark on this windy spring afternoon. Bergdahl putting on a very tough at-bat against Atherton here, fouling off another pitch to stay alive. It stays a 3-ball, 2-strike count with 1 out and the bases empty in the top of the 2nd inning. Milford leading this game 1-0. Atherton winds and fires, and that pitch misses low and outside for ball 4, so credit Mackenzie Bergdahl with a very tough at-bat. She's rewarded with the 1-out walk, the first walk allowed by Atherton in the game. Puts a runner at first base ahead of the number 7 hitter, Ilya Calverley. Atherton's pitch, that crosses the plate for a called strike 1. You'll notice Milford with a new look out there on the field with all black uniforms. A sleek look for this softball team in 2016. As that pitch is fouled against the backstop. And quickly, Calverley is down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Atherton sets up back in the circle. The windup and the pitch, and that is waved at and missed for strike 3. It's the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Atherton. Calverley goes down quickly for the 2nd out of the inning. Down to the number 8 spot in the lineup, number 10, Casey Whalen, the starting right fielder. Takes up residence in the left side batter's box, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Maddie Bonvino in very tight at third base. Emily Pierre-Gustavo in close as well, almost even with the pitcher. As the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Mackenzie Bergdahl reached on the 1-out walk. She stays at first base now with 2 down. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That misses once again. 3 balls and no strikes, just a little bit low that time from Atherton. Atherton's next pitch. That one taken for a strike. Bergdahl looks on from first base. Atherton ready with the 3-1, offered at and missed. That pitch inside, but Calverley aggressively going after it. Casey Whalen, I should say, the number 8 hitter. The 3-2 pitch, and it is offered at and missed for strike 3, battling all the way back from the 3-0 count. Atherton gets the strikeout. She ends up striking out the side in the inning with the 1 walk mixed in. 2 runners stranded on for Attleboro through the first 2 innings. We head to the bottom half of the 2nd. Milford still in front 1-0 here on Milford TV. It has not been the easiest weather to try to get this 2016 spring sports season underway. We mentioned the snow and rain last week that forced postponements across the board for all outdoor activities. Teams finally able to get their seasons going today, but windy conditions making it less than ideal. Certainly for these pitchers, you would think the wind is having an impact. As Mackenzie Bergdahl, the freshman, out for her 2nd inning of work. She pours in a called strike to the designated player, Caitlin DeCapua. And a big swing and a miss from DeCapua. She's down in the count, 0-2. Caitlin, unfortunately, had the distinction of being the final at bat of 2015, striking out against Silver Lake's Maddie Baroni, representing the tying run in the top half of the 7th inning. Milford trying for a comeback, but it fell short. Leading off this bottom of the 2nd inning, a 1-2 pitch on the way, and this is a tapper slowly towards third base. Hustling hard out of the box is DeCapua, but a nice play. out of Julia Woyt, and she was able to put a charge on that ball, and a good accurate throw to first base beats DeCapua for out number 1. 5-3 on the putout. The leadoff batter retired now as Megan Jake steps to the plate. A big cheer out of the dugout, I should say, for Megan Jakes, who comes up, sends a tapper that Jakes thought was foul, thought it landed in the batter's box. She did not run. Everyone screaming out of the Attleboro dugout to tag Jakes, the catcher eventually applying the tag, and so Jakes will be out. Call it 2 unassisted on that bizarre play. So 2 quick outs in the inning now as the sophomore Maddie Bonvino comes to the plate. She takes the first pitch for ball 1. Maddie Bonvino getting the game-winning hit in the first round of the playoffs last year against Quincy, finishing off a terrific comeback. Here she sends a comebacker towards the pitcher's circle, fielded by Bergdahl, and a throw to first. Ends a very quick 1-2-3 bottom half of the second inning. A nice inning for the pitcher, Bergdahl. And we have played 2 innings now for Milford. It stays 1-0 in favor of the Lady Hawks here on coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. Set to enter into inning number 3 here at the Milford High School softball field. Milford taking on the visiting Attleboro Lady Bombardiers. Milford has the 1-0 lead. Allie Atherton out for her 3rd inning of work to face batters 9, 1, and 2. Haley Pietro, the freshman, to lead it off. Turning to bunt. Comes up empty for strike 1. Atherton's 0-1 pitch, another bunt attempt. This one fouled in and out of the catcher's mitt. And Pietro down in the count, 0-2. Allie Atherton has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters she's faced. Ahead in the count here, 0-2. Here's the pitch. Another bunt attempt and another miss. So Haley Pietro becomes strikeout victim number 5 for Allie Atherton. 1 down in this top of the 3rd inning. Back up to the top of the lineup for the Lady Bombardiers, Sarah Vincent with a swinging strike 1. Vincent 0 for 1. She grounded out to second base to open the ball game. About to look at an 0-1 pitch. This is hit on the ground. It gets past the glove of Atherton, but backed up at shortstop by Jill Powers. The throw beats the runner Vincent to first base. 6-3 on the ground out. 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the 3rd. That leaves it up to Olivia Cass, who has the only Attleboro hit so far on the afternoon. It was a 1-out double back in the top of the 1st inning. She advanced to third base but was stranded there. Takes the first pitch low and away for ball 1. Opening day for Milford High School softball on the same day as opening day for the Boston Red Sox. On this 11th of April. Hard ground ball, but foul down the first base line. Good contact from Cass, but she could not keep it between the lines. This is an Attleboro program that has been in a rebuild mode for a number of years, but listening to some of the comments from Coach Homer prior to the start of the season, he is very encouraged by this group that he has in 2016. Coach Homer taking over the Attleboro program last year, coached the team to 7 victories. Looking to improve on that this year. The 1-ball, 1-strike pitch in there for a called strike 2. And Allie Atherton is 1 strike away from completing her first 1-2-3 inning of the day. The bases are empty. Here is the pitch. It's a chopper on the ground towards the right side of the infield. A foot race to the bag, and just getting there in time was Jess Tomaso. Barely beating out Olivia Cass to record the final out of the inning. It goes 3 unassisted. It is a 1-2-3 frame for Atherton. Done with 2.5 innings now for Milford. It remains 1-0 in favor of the home team here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Sydney Pounds will get it started for the Lady Hawks in the bottom of the 3rd inning, facing Mackenzie Bergdahl, who had a nice and easy 1-2-3 second inning of work. Sydney Pounds, who served as the leadoff hitter in this lineup for much of 2015, in there as the number 9 hitter, and no doubt the thought process there from Coach DeVito, get good speed at both the top and bottom of the lineup. With Sydney Pounds and Kate Irwin. Here's the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch. That's through the left side of the infield for a leadoff single. A wide turn around first base for Sydney Pounds, but that was fielded quickly by the left fielder Ilya Calverley. But a solid ground ball base hit from Sydney Pounds gets things started here in the 3rd. That is the 3rd Milford hit. Takes us back up to Irwin. A bluff down the line at first base from Sydney Pounds, but she stays put on the first pitch strike into Kate Irwin. Irwin struck out looking back in the 1st inning. Now they have the runner hung up between first and second base. The throw down to second, in and out of the glove of the shortstop Cass, and Sydney Pounds taking the chance, and she ends up getting away with it. It will go as a stolen base, a bit of an adventurous one at that. So she is down in scoring position. No outs in the inning and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Irwin. Tries to bunt. Comes up empty for a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Meanwhile, the catcher coming up from behind the plate to look Pounds back to the second base bag. The catcher, Julia Carlson. One and two the count on Irwin. Here's the pitch. It's grounded back up the middle, fielded by the shortstop. And the throw there not in time. Beating it out at first base is Irwin. You could see just a moment of indecision out of the shortstop, Olivia Cass, as she had Sydney Pounds passing behind her, heading to third. And by the time she made that throw to first base, Irwin had beaten it out for an infield single. That is the kind of speed that you get out of Kate Irwin. We saw it at times last season. Kate serving in a reserve role for much of the season, became a fixture in the starting lineup late in the year. I remember in particular a game late in the season, I do believe it was in the game against Silver Lake in the regular season, that Kate Irwin was able to beat out an infield hit much like that one in an inning in which Milford was able to rally to tie the game. And a jam here for Mackenzie Bergdahl as now Coach Homer has come out of the dugout. A full conference taking place inside the pitcher's circle as Milford has runners at the corners with Irwin at first, Pounds at third, and the big bat of Emily Pierre Gustavo about to stand in. The chatter increasing out of the Milford dugout. These two teams met in the regular season once last year. It was a one-sided game with Milford coming out on top by a final score of 13-1. Milford leads it 1-0 here in the bottom of the third, but they are threatening. Again, runners at the corners and nobody out. The first pitch into Emily Pierre Gustavo is a hard shot off the glove of the shortstop. It rolls out into shallow left field, and into score comes Sydney Pounds. That one really exploded at shortstop on Olivia Cass. Glanced off her glove, and the run comes home. Should still go as a base hit for Pierre Gustavo. 3 straight singles to open up this bottom of the 3rd inning, as now this ball is hit hard on the ground by Maggie Farrell. Snagged on the way by Bergdahl. She fires to first to get the out there. It sets up 2 runners in scoring position now with 1 down on the quick 1-pitch out by Maggie Farrell. Kate Irwin at 3rd base with Emily Pierre-Gustavo at 2nd. And the first pitch into Jess Tomaso, missing for ball 1. The sun buried behind cloud cover once again, as here's another ground ball hit right back to the pitcher's circle. Emily Pierre-Gustavo pretty far off that second base bag, but she's able to get back in. So the complexion of this inning changing quickly. It looked like it was the potential to be a real big inning for this Milford offense. They have scored a run. 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out, but they remain there now with 2 down. That leaves it up to Jill Powers. Powers swings at the first pitch, hits it on the ground to shortstop. The throw over to first base, a good stretch from the first baseman, Sarah Vincent. Jill Powers pleading the case that her foot came off the bag, but to no avail. It will go as a 6-3 inning-ending ground out. So again, very nice job by the starting pitcher for Attleboro, Mackenzie Bergdahl, to limit the damage. She forces Milford to settle for a single run, and we head to the 4th inning. Milford is now up 2-0 over the Attleboro Lady Bombardiers here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. A bit of a missed opportunity in the bottom of the 3rd inning for Milford. Starting off the inning with 3 straight hits. They had 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. Ultimately settled for just 1 run in the frame. They now have a 2-0 lead over Attleboro, as they have the middle of their order bats coming up. Julia Carlson, Julia Woyton, and Elizabeth Howe, batters 3, 4, and 5. And a couple of pitches missing the strike zone for Allie Atherton to start off this 4th inning. Allie has retired 8 of the last 9 batters she's faced, settling into a good groove. But a 2-ball, no-strike count here against Julia Carlson, who grounded out 3 unassisted in her previous at-bat. She sends a fly ball down the right field line, but twisting well out of play. A large group of fans have collected just beyond the field of play down the right field line, taking in their first softball action of the year. The 2-1 pitch just barely grabs the outside part of the plate, and the count now evens at 2-2. The next pitch on the way from Atherton, and it's hit hard right to the backstop. Keeps it a 2-2 count. We have not seen many balls hit in the air so far in this game. No doubt with the amount of wind we've been dealing with, you hit a ball high enough, it's going to wreak havoc on the outfielders. Atherton missing outside with that last pitch, running the count full. 3-2 on Carlson with the 3rd baseman Julia Woyton on deck. Here's the payoff pitch, and that's in for a called strike 3. Again, right at the knees. That location has been working well against these right-handed batters for Attleboro so far today. It's strikeout number 6 for Atherton. One out and the base is empty now for Julia Woyton. Woyton swings at the first pitch. She hits a fly ball out to center field. Settling underneath is Sydney Pounds, and she is able to make the catch, stepping in front of the right fielder, Maggie Farrell. And just after the catch, another vicious gust of wind. Sydney Pounds able to make that catch just prior to the wind kicking up again. Good for the second out of the inning. 2 outs and the base is empty for Elizabeth Howe, who turns to bunt and sends it foul right through the legs of Megan Jakes. Elizabeth Howe, a strikeout victim in her first at-bat, struck out looking to lead off the second inning. No balls and 1 strike as Atherton takes a moment outside of the circle. Now ready to deliver the next pitch, another bunt attempt and another miss. That last bunt attempt had Maddie Bonvino and Jess Tomaso charging in at the corners, with Emily Pierre-Gustavo rotating over to cover the first base bag. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It is waved at and missed for strike 3. 2 more strikeouts in the inning for Allie Atherton. She is up to 7 in the game as she has another 1-2-3 inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It remains Milford 2 and Attleboro nothing here on coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. DeCapua, Jakes, and Bonvino, the 3 batters expected in the home half of the 4th inning. More cheering from the home dugout as Caitlin DeCapua settles in on an 0-for-1 day so far. She swings at the first pitch, hits it hard on the ground to second base. It's gobbled up by Elizabeth Howe, who fires to first. 1 pitch and 1 out. 4-3 on that ground ball out. And now here is Megan Jakes, who had a brief at bat the first time around. That odd play, fisting the ball foul right around the batter's box. It was deemed a fair ball, and she was tagged out by the catcher. She takes the first pitch for ball 1, now ready for the next offering from Bergdahl, and it is inside. Goes right past the catcher to the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes the count. That one in as a called strike. Jakes not offering. Megan Jakes and Jill Powers leading this Lady Hawks squad that was ranked 10th in the state by ESPN prior to the start of the season. Jakes hitting a ground ball here softly back to Bergdahl in the circle. She fires to Sarah Vincent at first base. 2 quick ground outs in the 4th. Five times so far on the day, Milford has hit a grounder right back to the pitcher. As this ball is lofted towards first base and foul ground, Sarah Vincent makes the catch. Maddie Bonvino 1 pitch, and she is retired to conclude the 4th inning. More good work out of Mackenzie Bergdahl for Attleboro. She sets Milford down 1-2-3. We've now played 4 full innings from Milford. It stays a 2-0 lead for the home team here on Milford TV. This game nearly an hour old now as we enter into the top of the 5th inning. It's been a fairly quick moving game. Not a whole lot of offense. Milford scoring single runs in the 1st and 3rd innings, but Mackenzie Bergdahl has done a very good job of keeping this potent Milford lineup in check. 2 runs on 5 hits so far. And Atherton on the other side has allowed just a single hit. She's allowed just 2 base runners so far on the day as this ball is hit on the ground to second base. A nice rangy play by Emily Pierre-Gustavo moving to her left. And the throw to first base retires Mackenzie Bergdahl for the first out of the inning. Allie Atherton allowing a double with 1 out in the 1st inning. She allowed a 1-out walk in the 2nd inning. Those are the only base runners Attleboro has had so far. Atherton has now retired the last 9 consecutive batters and 12 out of the last 13. Falling behind Ilya Calverley here, 2 balls and no strikes. Calverley struck out in her first at bat back in the 2nd inning. Right-handed batter against the right-handed tossing Allie Atherton. Here's the windup and the pitch, swung on and missed. Atherton working hard in the offseason, and you can see a lot of life on that fastball. Goes upstairs with it this time to get past the bat of Calverley to work back even in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The next one on the way, and it is swung on and missed for strike 3. After falling behind 2-0, 3 straight strikes, and Calverley goes down for the 2nd time by way of the K. 8 strikeouts now for Allie Atherton. Now Casey Whelan at the plate. She also struck out in her first at bat. And once again, Emily Pierre-Gustavo cheating way in on the infield. This entire infield alignment for Milford right now in tight, with the exception of Jess Tomaso. Tomaso playing at medium depth, about equidistant between first and second. Guarding against the slash hitting Casey Whelan. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Half-hearted swing and a miss there, and the count goes to 1-2. The bases are empty as Atherton seeks out her 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. Into the windup, here's the pitch, and it is swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts to close out the inning for Atherton. It puts her total for the game up to 9. And we head on to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Milford still in front 2-0 here on Milford TV. Sydney Pounds, Kate Irwin, and Emily Pierre-Gustavo are the 3 batters due up in the bottom of the 5th inning. It was this combination of batters that led to Milford's 2nd run of the game back in the 3rd inning. Sydney Pounds leading off the inning with a single, stealing 2nd base. She eventually came around to score on an RBI single by Emily Pierre-Gustavo, as Pounds, Irwin, and Pierre-Gustavo came through with 3 consecutive hits to open the frame. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count early in the at-bat for Sydney Pounds, who now sends a hard ground ball to shortstop, in and out of the glove of Olivia Cass, and she'll have no chance to retire the speedy Pounds at first. A clean play may have had Pounds at first, so that should go as an error at shortstop. And Sydney Pounds is on for the 2nd time in the game, as now Kate Irwin looks to bunt, sends it foul at the feet of the home plate umpire for a first pitch strike. It was an infield hit for Kate Irwin, her first time up. Need to have very quick reflexes on the infield to get a throw to first base to beat the speed of Kate Irwin. Sydney Pounds very active on the bases, as again she started towards second and then retreated to the bag. 0-2 the count on Irwin. Here's the next pitch, and that one foul. That one ran inside on Irwin. Not really much of a swing out of Kate. The ball just kind of found the bat and popped foul over towards the third base dugout. It stays an 0-2 count. And this pitch just missing outside. Taking off for second base is Pounds, and she slides in safely with her second steal of the day. Able to get herself in scoring position. It was a close pitch on the outside part of the plate to Irwin, but ruled a ball, and now she stays alive with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. This one much further outside and low. Two balls, 2 strikes. No outs in the inning, a runner in scoring position. Here's Bergdahl's pitch. This is chopped on the left side. Pounds frozen in between second and third base. The third baseman, Julia Woyton, not quite knowing what to do with the baseball, the softball, I should say. And meanwhile, Kate Irwin safe at first base with another infield single. Sydney Pounds just freezing in her tracks about a third of the way down the line between second and third. So a 2-for-3 day now for Kate Irwin. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Emily Pierre Gustavo. Here's the 1-0 pitch. This is chopped on the ground to second base. No throw to second. Now the return to first is there in time. Elizabeth Howe at second base with eyes toward cutting down that middle runner as Kate Irwin made her way to second, but then thought better of it, fired to first, and got it there just in time to record the out of Pierre Gustavo. So the first out of the inning, but it's a productive one as it moves the runners along. 2 in scoring position now for Maggie Farrell. Farrell takes the first pitch for strike 1. Pounds at third, Irwin at second, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Farrell drives this pitch out to center field. It's going to get up over the head of the center fielder, Pietro, roll to the fence. Pounds comes in to score. Kate Irwin right behind on the 2-run double for Maggie Farrell, and that will double Milford's lead now. They lead 4-0. Pietro, a little bit of inexperience out there in center field. The freshman just starting her varsity career. She could not get a good read off the bat of how far that ball was going to travel. She started back, then backpedaled, and quickly realized the ball was going to be up over her head. All that speed on the base is no problem for both Irwin and Pounds to come around to score. So a big 4-0 lead now for Milford. And now here's Tommaso. She lines this pitch out to right field. That's down for a base hit. Coming around third base is Farrell. She will score. An RBI single for Jess Tommaso as the 3 and 4 hitters in this lineup starting to flex their muscles. Milford now able to take a 5-0 advantage. First, the 2-run double for Farrell, then the RBI single for Tommaso. And a nice way to start her Lady Hawks softball career. Jess Tommaso now 2 for 3 with a pair of runs batted in. She is the lone runner on the bases now at first, as Milford has started to figure out Mackenzie Bergdahl here in the 5th inning. Still only 1 out as Jill Powers now stands in on the right side. That one down at her feet for ball 1. Powers looking for her first hit of 2016. She's done the same thing twice so far today. That is ground out to shortstop. She sends this one to shortstop once again. The throw to second base. They cut down the runner there. The relay to first not nearly in time to complete the double play. So Jill will be safe on the fielder's choice. Jess Tommaso erased at second base. 2 outs now in the inning and a chance for Caitlin DeCapua. One ball and no strikes on DeCapua. She's grounded out to third and grounded out to second. Takes that pitch high as Julia Carlson sends the snap throw to first base. Power is able to get back in. 2-0 now the count. A big swing and a miss there. DeCapua trying to drive that pitch over the left field fence. Instead, the count goes to 2-1. The pitch from Bergdahl, low and outside. 3 balls and a strike on DeCapua. Megan Jakes would be next. Here's the pitch. This is a hard ground ball up the middle. It gets past the dive of Elizabeth Howe out into center field. Powers goes first to third on the 2-out single from DeCapua. It's the 4th Milford hit of the inning. It puts runners at the corners now for Megan Jakes. Jakes looking for her first hit of the day. She is the 8th member of this Lady Hawks lineup to come to the plate in the 5th. Here's the first pitch. It's up high. Three runs crossing the plate so far in this frame. As a called strike evens the count at 1. Jill Powers, the lead runner at third base, with DeCapua at first. The pitch from Bergdahl. This is hit on the ground. It glances off the glove of the pitcher Bergdahl, and everyone is going to be safe, and a run scores. Bergdahl has fielded her position very cleanly so far in this game, but that one just catching the very tip of the glove, drifting off towards third base, and by the time she reeled it in, no chance to make a throw. Should still go as a base hit. We'll not know the official scoring until after the game. Will go down in my book as a 2-out RBI single that ups the lead to 6-0 as Jill Powers came across the plate. And a 2-out at bat now for Maddie Bonvino, who takes the first pitch for strike 1. This pitch lofted out to shallow right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Only about 5 or so feet behind the first base bag, but placed perfectly for an RBI single for Maddie Bonvino as Caitlin DeCapua comes around to score the 7th Milford run. DeCapua around from second base to score. Milford with a runner in for Megan Jakes. It's Shannon Cormier. She went first to third on that play. So Cormier now at third base with Bonvino at first. This was a very close ball game heading into this bottom of the 5th inning, but Milford has really opened things up. They have scored 5 times so far in the inning. They've batted around the hitter who started this inning, Sydney Pounds, now up for the 2nd time here in the 5th. Pounds quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Bergdahl's next pitch, that's up high. Sydney Pounds reaching on an error at shortstop. She stole second base and eventually came around to score on the 2-run double by Maggie Farrell. She sends this pitch up the middle. It gets past the glove of the pitcher, rolls out into center field. Shannon Cormier comes around to score. Stopping at third base was Maddie Bonvino, and on the throw, Sydney Pounds able to take second base. So it'll go as an RBI single with Pounds taking second on the throw. The runner Shannon Cormier able to cross the plate. And things just keep on rolling for Milford here in this fifth inning. A conference on the mound now, inside the pitcher's circle, I should say. The entire infield. Mackenzie Bergdahl still with a smile on her face. She pitched very effectively over the first 4 innings of this game, limiting Milford to 2 runs on 5 hits, but it's been a different story here in the 5th inning, where now the 11th batter of the inning will come to the plate in Kate Irwin. Irwin takes the first pitch for a called strike. 2 runners in scoring position for the Lady Hawks, with Bonvino at third and Pounds at second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This is a tapper to the left side of the infield. The throw from third base, and it pulls Vincent off the bag. Safe at first base is Irwin, and in for the 9th Milford run is Bonvino. That was very close at first base. From our angle, it was tough to tell if Vincent's foot just came off the bag or if Irwin was able to beat it out. It was a bang-bang play. But again, there is that speed of Irwin. If she puts the ball on the ground in fair territory, it really is almost impossible to get her out at first base. Now Emily Pierre Gustavo up there with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Maddie Bonvino scoring on that play. Sydney Pounds moving to third base, so runners at the corners. As Pierre Gustavo sends this pitch out to right field, it's down for a base hit. In to score comes Sydney Pounds. And Milford is able to open up a 10-0 lead. And right now, Coach DeVito looking in towards the plate. As Maggie Farrell will step into the box now, as the Lady Hawks really putting this game away in the 5th inning. Swinging at the first pitch is Farrell. She pops it up into shallow right field, but no one underneath it. It will drop for a hit. Into score comes Kate Irwin. Looked like it could have been the 3rd out of the inning, but apparently Casey Whelan never saw it. Playing relatively deep out in right field, the ball ended up dropping, so a gift hit for Maggie Farrell keeps the inning alive. Now this pitch is delivered out into the gap in right center field by Jess Tomaso. And right now, Milford just having their way in this 5th inning. They've put up their 12th run now. And it looks like that will be the final batter of the game. To a 12-run lead now for Milford, so mercy rules will come into apply. Again, a lot of this game changing in quick fashion here in the 5th inning. This looked like it was going to be a close game right to the end, with both pitchers playing very well through the first 4 innings, but this Milford offense, you can only contain them for so long, and they broke out here in the 5th inning, scoring 10 times to take a 12-0 lead, and that is it. The game comes to an end here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So in the first game of the season, Milford able to come away with a mercy rule victory by a final score of 12-0. So Milford improves to 1-0 on the season, and for Attleboro, a tough loss here this afternoon will drop them to 0-2 on the year. So Milford will be right back in action here on their home field later this week. A lot of home games early on the schedule for the Lady Hawks. They will play their first 5 straight games here in Milford. They will next be in action on Wednesday, April 13th, taking on Sharon, a 3:45 start time as they look to keep a good solid start to the season. But basically everything going well for Milford in game number 1 on the season. The win goes to Allie Atherton, a 1-hitter through 5 innings of work with 9 strikeouts. So great pitching, excellent hitting, and a good start to the year for the Lady Hawks. So a big thank you to all of our crew on hand for this game. I am Tim Coette. Your final score, one final time in 5 innings. Milford able to come through with the mercy rule victory, winning by a final score of 12-0. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.